Hello, this is Tim here. Hope you're doing well. This video is for students who are using the 3D printer lab at AACC. I've kind of thrown a lot in the deep end there, and in fairness, I think you definitely need a video to show you how to use each of the 3D printers. At AACC, we have three printers in the lab. We have a Dimension UPRINT, which looks like this. It has a computer connected to it. We have a MakerBot Replicator Plus, which just looks just like this. This does not have a computer connected to it. And we have an Ultimaker 2 Extended Plus. So we have these three 3D printers. They're set up and they're there for you to be used in your projects. So I'm going to help you figure out these 3D printers, so don't worry. Each 3D printer has its own control software. And you can download them and you can play around with them. The 3D printer software for the Ultimaker is called CURA, and this is where you can download it. You can download it for free. You can play around with it. It's very intuitive. Okay. The MakerBot, here's the MakerBot download. It's free to download. It's called MakerBot Print 4.0, and it's easy. You'll see how to use it. The UPRINT Catalyst is maybe 10 years old now, but it is a great 3D printer. The control software is called Catalyst EX. You can download it here. But we have this installed on the computer, and you can use that too. So I probably wouldn't download this. I have the three of them installed on my computer here, and I'm just going to show you. I'm going to show you three examples. The part that we're going to use in each example is this soap holder that you've all seen in your SOLIDWORKS class. And here is if you want to 3D print this, what you need to do is you cannot import a SOLIDWORKS model into the 3D printer software. The file format of choice is something called an STL file. So let's slow down here. You go to File. Once you're done and ready to print, there's no harm in remember. Let's check what sort of length this is. This is about 4 inches in length. Excuse me. And I'm going to go Save As STL. Okay. And now I'm going to close down SOLIDWORKS. The first software that we're going to practice with is CURA. You have to download this on your computer unless you're borrowing someone else's laptop. You're going to click on CURA. Give it an old sec. This is, in fairness, this is it's a nice piece of software. Okay, you have prepare, preview, and monitor. You're not going to worry about monitor because that has to be connected to the printer. You might have to add a printer here. It's called the Ultimaker 2 Extended Plus. You need to get this right. I'm pretty sure we're using PLA and the nozzle size is 0.4 millimeters. You would need to check that. Okay. Ask Amir or Tyler or one of those smart lads. They'll know exactly what nozzle is installed. I go to Open and I'm going to select my STL. And this is what the printer looks like. Now I can click this and I can move it around. You don't have to just print one thing at a time. You're going to have lots of parts in your car that you're building, and you can set them up in this bed here. I'm going to rotate this something like this, 90 degrees. Okay. Now, what else do we want to do here? Things you need to watch out for. The Ultimaker 2, now what am I doing here? I'm using the roller ball to zoom back and forth and the right mouse button to zoom to rotate. Now can I pan? How do I pan? Do I hold? Oh, lovely. I'm holding the roller ball down to pan. The Ultimaker 2 has one nozzle. It doesn't print out support material. How would I explain this? But I need to create a temporary platform or scaffolding under this, so if this printed it like it shows, it would just drop straight down there. Okay. What 3D printers that have two nozzles will print out a support material and the main model material. And what happens is the support material will be kind of water soluble, or it will be easily to wash away, if you know what I mean. But the Ultimaker 2 has only one nozzle. So this layer height you can adjust. If you make this really small, extra fine, that controls the resolution of the layers. If you make it very fine, it's going to exponentially increase your bloody print time. My advice is to keep this layer height very high up there. The infill, if I was making a part that was kind of structural and I was drilling and tapping into it, I would have an infill of about 100. That's a full infill. You do not need that for the parts that you're making. You can keep this around 30 to 40%. I wouldn't go over 50%. I'm going to show you the adhesion. What it does is it will add a flat piece to stick to the bed. This is a good thing. Turn this on. Turn on your support. Okay. I'm going to, layer height, set this high. Infill, set this around 40%. Turn on the support, turn on the adhesion. Let's close this down and let's turn on slicing. Okay. And then I'm going to hit preview. And this base here is that adhesion layer. Do you see? You're probably thinking to yourself, hey, I don't want all this stuff here printed. That's dramatically changing the model. This is quite easy enough to break off. My advice is to try it with if you have a ramp, or what is that called, an area where you're going to need scaffolding or support. Turn it on. If that's giving you grief, you can turn it off. Where would you turn it off? It's in there. Look, I'll turn this off and we'll slice it again. Okay. Now, I don't know if this can print this or not. My advice is to turn on the support. Once you have the cutting or the slicing, you can go save to file. It's going to save the file to a G-code file, okay? And you're going to hit save. And you're going to move that G-code. If you look at the Ultimaker, can I zoom in here? The Ultimaker has an SD card. Your laptop will have to have an SD card reader on it, and you will transmit that to the SD card. You'll plug it in. You're going to use this turn wheel. What else if you're having trouble with printing this, you can also control the speed, and you can bring this speed down. Can we make that to 30? You can also change the speed. If you're printing very delicate features, you might want to turn that speed down. Okay. That's the Ultimaker. It's a very nice 3D printer. If the filament, at the back of the 3D printer is where the PLA filament is. If it's running out, give us a shout. mark. Right, the next one is where's the picture of it? Here we are, MakerBot. We do not have a computer connected to this. It has a USB drive. You're going to generate the G code on your own laptop or in one of the labs, and you're going to save it and transfer it to the MakerBot using a USB thumb drive. The software is called the MakerBot Print. Don't even waste your time trying to connect, bring an STL into this. You need to, it has to be done through the software. So let's close down the CURA for a second. Let's open up the MakerBot Print. You are going to have to register and create an account. It's free, and I know that's a pain, but you don't have a choice. On the bottom right hand corner, you're going to add a printer. You're going to go add an unconnected printer, and you're going to click on the replicator plus. All right. You have to do that first. The next step, you're going to go new project, add models. We're going to use the same STL file that we used in previously. Now, can I close that down? Lovely. I'm using the right mouse button, the roller ball to zoom in and out. I click this part. I can orient it. I can see the X here. Now, there we go. X, lovely. Again, you don't have to just print out one part at a time. You can add multiple parts. You can crowd this plate as much as you want. Okay. You can scale this if needs be. You can arrange different parts. You can move them around. Yeah, that works. That's nice. Print settings. You want to make sure that I would use balanced. If you're just wanting to do something quickly, the draft is a good one. Even more so mini fill, but I'm going to use balanced. Excuse me. I went into custom settings and make sure support is checked. And then I went into custom settings and I went into support and bridging, and I turned on this support under bridges. Toggle support generation under bridges when support is enabled. I think this is a good idea. I'd leave the rest of this alone. And I go here and I'm going to click on estimates and print previews. Give it a second. I hate to say this, now it's still good software, but I do like the CURA software a little bit better. It's a little bit more intuitive. But look, this is alright. Does the job. Preview generated. That's kind of nice. Yeah, let's zoom in here. Let's see, is there any... The bridging, it does seem a little bit smarter, the bridging, is that the right word, or the support material. This isn't the support material, it's all the same material, but you're going to be breaking this away, okay? It's saying that it's 3 hours to print this. It will be done at 1 a.m. Now you can export this as a MakerBot file, and you're going to save this, put this in a thumb drive, and don't be somebody had a really short thumb drive, put this in here and left it in. Make sure that you're not using one of those really stubby thumb drives, because you're gonna have to use a needle nose pliers to pull it out. You're going to plug it in here, and you're going to have to use this nice thumb wheel, and you press it in and you're going to be able to run it. There's your PLA filament. What I've seen people do is they will use frog tape or the blue masking tape to improve the adhesion. Amir is using a glue stick. Pritt stick, we call it. It's white, and they will just liberally apply this to the base plate to improve adhesion. So that's the MakerBot replicator. Um, the last 3D printer we'll move on to is the old boy of the 3D printers in our room. It's our UPRINT. This has two types. It's a dual extruder. It has material and it has support. You have to put build plates in, make sure they're locked in. I nearly prefer you use the other two printers. So hold on, let me pause this and then we'll move on to Catalyst. The last piece of software that we need to cover is called Catalyst. Catalyst is the 3D printer, the slicer software they call it for the UPRINT. Our UPRINT is about 10 years old, and we have run a ton of material through this with very little problems. In fairness, I think it's a great printer, but if I was paying for it out of my own cash, I wouldn't be using it is a great printer, but it's quite expensive. Remember to lock in the build plate here. There's two little latches here when you run your printer. You do not need to install Catalyst on your computer because there's a computer connected to the 3D printer. But if you want to play around with it, that's perfectly fine. This is what Catalyst looks like. It's a little bit old school, and there's different tabs here. You can see that. You're going to go to OpenSTL, and you're going to click here. And this is the build size. I think it's 8 by 6 by 6 in inches, and you can change the model interior. So if I was tapping this or I wanted this to be rock solid, I change it to solid. But sparse high density is fine. Support fill I don't really care about. So what I do is I know this is about 4 inches in length. So in each one of these squares is 1 inch. So I know that the scaling of that looks correct. I can come into orientation. So this is step 1, step 2, and I can change the rotation of the part here quite easily, or I can just hit auto orient and it applies some sort of algorithm to it. Now, you can tell that I definitely have more experience with this 3D printer than the other two. The UPRINT, and I should have done this years ago, made a video on this UPRINT. It has dual extrusions. It has an extruder for the support material, and it has an extruder for the main model material. If I click on Process STL, you'll see, this is quite nice now, you'll see different colors. The purple material is the real color of it is black. The red material that you see here, the real color of it is white. Now, when you take this out of the tank, it's going to have all this black support material at the bottom of it, and that's where we put it in our dunk tank. And what it will do is it will wash that soluble material away, and it will leave you with the actual model. So this is quite nice. You don't have to worry about any of that support bridging material that you have to do in the other two of them. So a 3D printer with a dual extrusion nozzle is always a good thing. I click on add to pack, and then I move on to the pack here, and you can see here this is the build plate. It's the layout of the build plate, and you can have multiple different parts. Like if you wanted to print a different part now, you would go to OpenSTL and so on. You can copy and you can make multiple parts here, and it tells you that in order to make these two parts you need roughly 3 square inches of material, of model material, and roughly 2 square inches of support material, and this is going to take 6 hours. Once you're done with this, you basically press print, and this will send the print to the 3D printer, and what you have to do then is you're going to press this button, this top button here. Honestly, I would come back about a half an hour later and make sure that both nozzles are not blocked. You'll see black material and you'll see white material. If you see black material and white material on the plate, um, you know you're in business. This 3D printer doesn't have a whole lot of problems with adhesion, with the plastic adhesion sticking to the build plate, because it's in a nice temperature controlled environment. So that's basically an introduction to the 3D printers that we have at our college. Um, if you can learn one slicer software, they're all kind of the same. Um, you know, so honestly, what's going to happen is you have to print out a fair amount of parts over the next few weeks to get your car working. And, I'll open up the door and I'm going to expect you to have watched this video. So that's it. Best of luck with your project.